Welcome to Speaking Highly with Jon Huck. I am your host, Jon Huck. If you are watching on YouTube, could you do me a favor and like and subscribe to the show? That way you get it in and you won't miss out on any episodes that are coming your way. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, do me a solid and rate and review the show. That really helps get us searched by more people and seen by more people. So if you like what you see, make sure you let others also like what you see, if that makes sense. All right. And with me as always, Indy Fawcett, everybody.
Hey.
Indy, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good. Getting those likes and those subscriptions.
I gotta say that was flawless.
Top of the episode.
That was flawless.
Yeah. Flawless. Okay. All right. Been drinking this morning, Indy. That's good. Today we are celebrating giving. What is that? A Diet Coke and a Budweiser? What was that?
I got a bubbly. I got
Moscow.
a water. I got another water. I got a Monster low carb, a bubbly, and a Diet Coke. How about that?
I'll tell you how about that. How come you don't pee 9 times an episode?
Because
maybe you do.
You sip, John. You sip.
All of those? That's like a lot of beverages, dude. You don't. How hydrated are you?
Pretty damn well hydrated. If it lets me give back to the people. It enables me
to the toilet.
Yeah.
It lets me give back urine to the bathroom. Today we are celebrating giving back, not Indy's urine, but giving back, volunteering, being of service to others. And whether that's family, friends, your community. And when I say give back, I mean that in the broadest possible sense of the word. I'm not saying that everyone needs to go feed the hungry or deliver meals to the elderly, although those are solid things that need doing. So if you can and want to do those things, by all means, go crazy. But I also think that we are all capable of giving back in one form or another, whether
Definitely.
you think you are or not. A key thing is that we all have different gifts, abilities, and things we can do that other people can't do. I know I say this a lot, that we're all the same, and we are, but we're also different. So I look at it like, tell me if this is okay, but like waves in the ocean.
All right.
So
I'm listening.
The ocean is the universe, and the people are the waves. But the waves come up, and the waves, they differ in size. They differ in how long they stay up. Some are a blip on the radar. Some are massive, but they're all part of the same ocean. So that's it. We're all the same, but we're also different. We're all connected to the universe. Uni means one verse, one song. We're all part of the same thing, but we have different shapes and different sizes and different abilities and different gifts that we have developed or that we've been given through the miracle of DNA and whatever else you want to call it. So the only person who can bring anything to the table that you bring is you. You're the only one like you is my point. So you're someone.
Whoa,
you mean
dude.
something. You can give back. You know what I mean? And if you look, and this podcast has been, I don't want this to come off as I'm not trying to sound righteous or I'm not trying to fucking.
Oh, nobody's
jerk
giving
myself
more
off
than
or
you.
Pat myself on the back. But I am the best person. I'm not trying to sound righteous, but I am better than Jesus. I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anyone, but I am better. No, look, I look at stand-up, and this is stand-up in particular is a way for me to give back. And I'm not trying to sound silly, but I get paid to do it, but let's be clear. I don't get life-changing money to do it. I barely get fucking rent-paying money to do it. So the money isn't what keeps me in stand-up. If anything, it's the idea that I can connect with these audiences. And for a long time, I will say, when I first started stand-up, it was all about telling jokes and being funny. And then it did become something I was trying to make a lucrative financial gain. And that I was miserable during those years. And it wasn't until getting back out on the road with Dan Cummins and seeing the reaction of that crowd, his crowds, and what his comedy means to them, and just the idea that you are helping these people. You are helping them by making them laugh, forgetting about their week, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's not about money. If I did comedy for money, I would be a fucking idiot. Okay, that's just doesn't.
Well, I
and
think
this podcast.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think also it's like everybody's self-interested to a degree because we have to, provide for our family and do what's best for ourselves and treat and help ourselves before we can help others, right? But I think also like helping other people is in a way helping yourself in that, when you give, there more comes back to you, or like you'll feel, you never go away from giving feeling bad, I guess is what
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You don't go, it's like you can go out with your friends and you can get drunk and go have dinner and you can be good. And maybe you're not hungover tomorrow and maybe you are, but if you go out and you give back, you donate, you help somebody, you do something worthwhile and you feel that, you don't wake up tomorrow going, oh, I got to take a shit, dude. I gave too much last night. I got diarrhea. Like that doesn't happen. There's never, you don't feel bad. You don't get the runs. There's none of that.
Yeah. And it's like,
it feels good.
Like it's weird. Cause like, it's actually one of the most selfish things to do. Because cause it's interesting because selfish people, not selfish, like you're a selfish asshole, but like selfish in that, what selfish people are trying to attain is really what we're all trying to attain. They just do it terribly, right? It's like we're all trying to attain that level we're trying to
happiness,
right?
Yeah. Everybody wants happiness.
Right.
That's literally everyone's like, what do you want? I just want to be happy.
Just when it comes at the expense of other people's happiness is, there's a line there. Yeah.
Yes, and also you can, like you said, you don't walk away feeling bad. You will. It'll be it's like the thing that it keeps on giving. And when you say selfish, it is, I said this to our guest today is, excuse me, Caroline Pinal, who's a co-founder of Give Back Homes. But I had a conversation with her on the phone before we did the podcast. And I had said what you said, like, I feel selfish because when I was being selfish and filling the hole I had with alcohol, it was all about me, me, me. And now that I've been trying to help out and do more, you feel good. And now I'm selfish and I want that feeling all the time. And to her credit, she was like, well, that's not selfishness. That's like, you feel good from giving. I'm like, yeah, but it's a feeling that I like. So I keep doing it,
Right. Like
but
it's like it's the red angel, white angel on your shoulder, right? It's like, there's always an easier way to get to that same feeling. It's just using the red guy is usually not the best option.
Right. Right. and if you look, like I do feel this. I said this to Caroline, but I feel this. If you look at our podcast so far, the guests we've had, they've all given back in some way. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like even you take Garrett Morris, SNL, that's at least 5 years of laughter plus the rest of his career, which was long as fuck. and great. Senta, same thing. She's been in movies and TV that have brought people insane joy and with My So-Called Life, like acceptance and a feeling of being seen and heard. And then you got like Dan, I mean the podcast thing again.
Yeah, it's in essence
Onika,
like Eddie Pence. I mean,
the
king of
Eddie
giving.
Pence
Eddie
is
Pence.
my designated driver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's giving back. Like that. Literally, everybody we have on, whether they are fully aware of it or not, or really feel that, they're giving back. They're doing something for other people, and I think, and they're doing it. Just about everyone we've had on, they do it out of a love for that thing. It's not out of a feeling of guilt or a sense of duty. It's just something that they do because they enjoy and they get joy out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they get joy from it. So
it feeds itself.
Again, we've said this on the podcast. When you do something with love, you can't fail. So I think what my point is that don't wait until you think you have enough money to donate, or don't wait until you gain a skill you think you need to volunteer somewhere. Just take that first step. And we'll talk to Caroline and you can hear, like she's someone you could probably go, you go to a bar, have a beer with her, have a bunch of laughs.
Yeah.
And then the next day she goes and helps a family in Nicaragua with building, you know what I mean? Like but yeah, guys,
incredible
that's
interview.
What I'm saying. Yeah. It's a fun interview. She's great. And we'll put up the info for where you can sign. Like I'm going to sign up for one of these build trips. I want to go to Nicaragua. I want to build a house. I want to smoke weed in the bushes with some people I've never met. Like, at this point, I want to do anything with other people.
Try some
You know what I mean?
comedy
Up
in Spanish.
Dude, she mentions it'd be great if we could bring a comedian. And I'm like, oh, if you're only gonna bring me, I'll volunteer to tell jokes. If I don't have to build anything,
You're
I will
like
volunteer
pounding
to
nails, you're like, and trying to do jokes in Spanish.
Who here's from out of town? Huh? All right. Nobody understands what I'm saying. They just look at me. I'm like, hey, tough crowd. Guys, like I said, don't wait to get involved. Giving back feels fucking awesome. So
Do it.
do it where you can and enjoy this interview with Caroline Pinal. Thank you so much for doing this. So, all right.
Oh my gosh, thanks for inviting me. I'm just excited to talk to someone new. I'm like, I've missed meeting strangers and chatting with randoms, at a bar or at an airport or whatever. So
Yeah, it's
lucky you. You get to-
I'm the guy trying to mind his own business at the bar, getting chatted up by
like,
somebody who
hey.
loves to talk.
Cool shoes. Yeah.
That's really funny. Oh, all right. Well, we're into it. So, guys, my guest today is the co-founder of Give Back Homes, which we're going to find out about exactly what they do. I don't want to give a definition and then have it be so far off that I have to recant. And she's also a kickball team coach. So, guys, Caroline Pinal, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you, John?
I'm good. Can you, like I said, I didn't want to say what Give Back Homes does. It sounds very simple. Like I hear it. The name seems to say what it does, which I like because I'm a very simple man. Now, could you explain what your company does, what you do to me as if like I was a child, kind of like an idiot?
Well, very simply put, it's a group of real estate agents and real estate companies who are all dedicated to giving back. So they either donate or they volunteer or they do both. And we've taken hundreds of members of our community down to Central America to help build homes, to physically go help build the homes and meet the families. And we've also supported affordable housing projects all throughout the United States as well, too. And they've come out and they volunteer and help build those homes, too. So very simply, it's a really good group of real estate professionals who have big hearts and want to give back.
And so it's international and it's national and international, meaning United States plus, like you said,
We're global.
global.
Yes.
Thank you. Global. That's a perfect way to. That's a word. It means the whole place. And you work closely with Habitat for Humanity and other. What would you call that? Like a nonprofit?
Mm-hmm.
Other nonprofits like that. Have you ever met Jimmy Carter?
Never met Jimmy Carter.
Okay. I was just kidding. That guy's.
I've heard stories. I mean, he was still out there hammering. I don't know. I've never met him though.
It's crazy. I've never had a lot of respect for politicians, and I don't know that had I been old enough to understand him in office, if I would have had any respect for him in office. But he is the one of the presidents that like I have got nothing but crazy amounts of respect for after the fact. I mean, the dude is 90 years old, banging hammer to nail, and I'm just like, man, he's like to me, that's like a Bernie Sanders, like lead by example. Like, I'm not going to go tell you how great I am. I'm going to do the thing I want other people to do.
Absolutely. I hope to be a dinosaur myself at one point, just like continuing to lead groups of people on these trips and having fun and doing good at the same time.
I feel like because of what he does, like this episode, we're celebrating basically giving back. And because he has dedicated so much of his life to that exact thing, giving back to, under-resourced communities and people who can't afford houses and that kind of thing, I think that's why he's still alive.
Probably.
I think that kind of thing fuels you in a positive way, Is there anything like when you, I guess, how did you come to the idea for Give Back Homes? I mean, a lot of people want to do good. They want to give back. They want to be helpful and they want to, serve other people. But there's a lack of understanding on how to do that. Like, in my head, it goes as far as, I guess I could go to a homeless shelter and feed people. And that's great. But I mean, it seems like Give Back Homes does takes that idea to another level.
Yeah, and we also encourage people to just simply go out in their own communities, in their own backyards, and do exactly what you just said, maybe helping at a local homeless shelter. But sometimes it takes someone getting on a plane and traveling to a community in the middle of nowhere in Central America, and then they come back and then they feel like, oh, okay, now I'm empowered to do something more locally, or to do that thing that I've always wanted to do for my neighborhood or for my kids' school or whatever. So we always are open to any kind of giving. But yeah, we started almost 8 years ago now.
Wow.
Myself and my business partner, Blake Andrews, we worked for the company Tom's Shoes, which you probably remember.
Yeah, they're still around, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You say remember like R.I.P. Like you might remember Tom's Shoes. Like, oh man.
Well, they pioneered the one-for-one giving model, which then, inspired hundreds of companies after that. And they really
I was going to say, which is just when I buy a pair of Tom's shoes, they then donate a pair of Tom's shoes to a kid or a person who would need them.
Exactly. So I was working there at Tom's Shoes. I met my business partner, Blake Andrews, there. We were on a giving trip where we actually got to go and distribute shoes to communities and children in need. And then, that experience was just so life-changing and such an incredible thing that the company would send their employees to be able to go experience and see the impact of their giving, firsthand. And so when we came back, my business partner, Blake, he was actually going through the process of buying a home, working with real estate agents. And so that's when we had the idea, what if we could apply a similar model to the real estate world? And that's how the idea for Give Back Homes came about. We really just wanted to go build one home for one family in need. We took his real estate agent at the time, who was down. He was like, I'll donate. I want to build a home. We're like, sweet. So we all went down to Nicaragua. We built one home. And we were stoked. Like if it would have ended there,
you were like, look what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty fulfilled. And then it just continued to grow and evolve, and we got more and more real estate agents involved. We had a lot of help since, you are from the entertainment world. We had some help from reality TV stars. Like we were on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, thanks to Mauricio Umansky, who owns a real estate brokerage called The Agency there in LA. So they were the first to partner with us on a brokerage level. So that really helped get the word out there. And we got, and then also Madison Hildebrand, who was on $1 Million Listing LA, came with us on a trip to Nicaragua. He found out what we were doing. He was like, I want to go to Nicaragua. So he came and we built a home, and we had such a good time. So we're very thankful and grateful to, those, people who helped us promote Give Back Homes and get the word out there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, so when you say you adapted the Tom's model, meaning the one for one, like when someone buys a home, someone else gets a home?
That was the idea. Yeah. Because this real estate agent that we were working with at the time, he wanted to build a complete home for a family in Nicaragua. And so we're like, cool. Like, what if we can kind of apply that, to more, what if there are more real estate agents who want to do something similar? Maybe not build a complete home, but maybe donate a percentage of their transaction or a percentage of their commission to help build homes for people in need. Gotcha.
The Tom thing, when he sent employees to, like you called it a giving trip. What did you?
Yeah.
Okay. That is, I mean, he could have just had the idea, and it could have just been a process that he set into place, hiring people that were in that area to do the distribution, to do all that. The next level, the next step of sending his employees there to see it firsthand is so smart to me. And I mean, you saw what you were doing. You saw the impact you had. It was right in front of you. People smiling, people happy, people glad they had shoes to put on their feet. You go back, that's 10 times the feeling of, I donated $1 million to this place and I know they got a school. You know what I mean? Like you were there, you saw it. So is that's part of what you do, in the sense that you have to go to these places because you have to build these things. And instead of outsourcing it to, say, carpenters or contractors in those areas, you physically go yourselves and do this.
I mean, it's something that was really important to me when we first started Give Back Homes, because the whole reason, like I said, that we were inspired for Give Back Homes was because of that giving trip with Tom's. And I just highly recommend, it's not really something that you hear a lot of people doing is, dedicating 3 days or a week to go and either help build a home or help at an orphanage or do things like that. People take time off for vacation, which is equally as important. Everyone needs to, vacation,
You
but
need me time.
yeah, but I've always been, an advocate for companies to be able to provide these opportunities to their employees, because, like you said, your employees come back, they're inspired, they're rejuvenated, they'll forever, be loyal to you and your company for giving them that opportunity, and it inspires so much more. You never know what will happen, and the ripple effects of an experience like that. I mean, we are one example
I was
of
going to
many.
say, yeah, you're like the biggest ripple effect from that experience. You and I'm sorry, what was the other co-founder?
Like,
But
yeah,
you, I mean, that clearly affected you enough to then take it to a next. I keep saying next level, next, but it's going up instead of shoes, it's houses. It's like, I mean, I think that's
right.
fantastic, and I think there's something to that when you. Like, you can donate to a homeless shelter. You could, and I'm not trying to say people shouldn't, and that's not I mean, if you have money and you can do that, please do it. But being there, going there, doing it,
Both are
seeing
very important.
both, yes, both are very, very important. But I feel like I'm speaking more to people that are like me, who don't have a million. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have, but I've got 2 legs, 2 arms, and I can be of assistance. So it's just being in it is such a it affects you quicker. It's almost like it's mainlining the goodness is what it is. It's like
Absolutely.
you could smoke it and then you get high, but if you put it in a vein, you are gonna get high. So
This is like hot boxing it. Yeah.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
I don't know if you've done that. I don't know.
No, I've read about it in a thing. It's fine. I read a lot of drug journals. Um,
Have you ever done anything like that? Like, have you ever, kind of volunteered or done any sort of trip like that?
I have not. In college they had a trip. They had a trip that went to Africa, and I tried to get in there because I wanted to go to Africa. I thought that would be cool, and I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't the extent of building houses, but they were there helping some group of people. It's so foggy to me.
Got it.
That was like the closest thing I ever got to. Like, I mean, I've traveled, I've done a lot of traveling, but never, it's always been personal, just for fun. And as I get older, I'm more open to the idea of helping other people, if that makes sense. Like, when I was younger, I was a little bit selfish. I was like, I don't have time for that. I'm busy working over here doing my thing. And if I don't do
Right.
my thing, who's going to do my thing? So and in a sense, I still agree. I believe that to be the case but not the way I was thinking about it. I believe you can work on yourself, and that's where it starts. You have to be somebody you like on the inside. I know that sounds cliche, but to love you, if you can't love other people if you don't love yourself, you can't really help. You can't really help other people if you haven't helped yourself. And that could mean, learning to meditate, taking yoga, whatever it is to open up your life a little bit and
Right.
put you in an area that you kind of understand that. I don't want to get too full. Go ahead. So what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I don't want to get too philosophical or whatever, but it opens you up, and there's I don't know. Say what you were gonna say. I'm rambling now.
Where you were going. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think when I was in college as well, I was kind of looking for an experience like that. I was like, God, even for like spring break and stuff, I was like, I wasn't really that interested in it for whatever reason, but I wanted to go and travel and do something good at the same time. I mean, and so I was looking for opportunities. And so I kind of created this, and that's probably what attracted me to working at Tom's, is I was like, oh, there we go. I can work somewhere and it'll check this box that I've always wanted to do as well. So I think everyone kind of has that in them, and there weren't a lot of opportunities. I mean, I think when I was younger, it was like you either went with a church group, which,
I wasn't gonna do.
I got kicked out of church when I was like 7 or 8. I didn't wake up in time to go to the classes or whatever. So I was like, that's not going to happen. And or I think, or it was like the Peace Corps,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like there was no in the middle. So I was like, I want to create experiences where people could feel welcome. Let's go like on a build trip or whatever it might be, and do some good. And then if you want to take a vacation afterwards and go hit the beach, do that too,
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, your pleasure and your business sort of become a thing that you don't have to think about as work. Like you get to travel to somewhere
Right.
like Nicaragua,
They're
which
no longer exclusive.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm just saying, and that's the whole concept of give back homes is like people always put like, making money is one thing, and not philanthropy is like they're no longer mutually exclusive. Like you can combine the two. You can make a lot of money and do a lot of good at the same time, which I think businesses and people are becoming, they're getting that now. But yeah.
Yeah. So how does a business, like when a business gives back, and like how when they want to, like, I guess take me through a process. You guys uh, let's say
I'll give you an example. One of our main companies that we work with is called Concierge Auctions. It's a real estate auction company. So they auction off like the most luxurious properties all around the world. And every time they sell a home at auction, they build a home for a family in Nicaragua. We started, and now we're in El Salvador. They've now transformed 3 communities, have built hundreds of homes through this program, and we created and develop and maintain this program for them. It's called Key for Key. And then I bring their employees. So it's kind of like the same, like similar to the Tom's concept. Bring their employees to go help build the homes there. And then their employees come back, and like we were talking about, they're completely transformed. And it's just such a cool program and such a cool experience. So that's an example of something that we do for this real estate company.
and that's just one company. So
And that's one company. Yeah.
are there other companies that like maybe the house is too much and they can do like, because I noticed on your website you do meals and stuff to frontline health workers, and is
Yeah,
that
so
international as well? Is that kind of thing international as well, or is
Yeah, so
yeah?
we started working with organizations like Waves for Water, which helps provide water filters to communities in need of clean drinking water. And then we started working with World Central Kitchen, which provides fresh meals we started working with them a few years ago during the wildfires and things like that to support them, just bringing meals to people who were displaced and all kinds of stuff. And then recently now we're helping them as well this past year, or just supporting them. And I was able to volunteer a couple weeks ago with them. So they're a great organization as well too. But yeah, we kind of just evolved into helping rebuild after natural disasters this past year during a pandemic. Like we just kind of help wherever we can, or fundraise however it makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. This is just for my personal knowledge, I guess. But are there like any dickheads in this field that you work in? Like, I feel like I feel like my dad has always taught me like there's gonna be assholes in everything you ever do. Don't worry about it. Don't get mad. Like they're gonna be around. You can't avoid them. But I feel like you've sort of found a place where you're so mindful and so present and so doing the right thing that it'd be hard to like work in being a greedy asshole or being a prick, or I just
There are dickheads and assholes everywhere in every industry for sure. I mean, even nonprofits are competitive with each other.
yeah.
But I think that luckily what we do has attracted good people.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, there's gonna be assholes in everything. I'm trying to think of an example of a dickhead thing someone's done to us, but
I mean, my guess would just be like being lazy on the job.
oh,
Like I would just be like, oh yeah, I want to help. Like I'm gonna be, oh, I have to go take a 45-minute shit while you guys roof a house. Like, just being the guy who took the trip to Nicaragua only to go like off in the woods, get high, and not help.
hey, we do have fun on our trip, so I don't want to shame them for doing that. But they're real estate agents. They're constantly on working. I actually think it's really incredible that we can be in like a remote community in Nicaragua and they can be closing deals on their phone. They step
Yeah.
away, close a deal, and then they come back and they continue building. So in that aspect, I actually think it's really cool. I'm trying to think of what other examples there be. I think if anything, in general, in like the, the giving space, people are very judgy of each other's giving, or they'll be like, oh, they're very like ashamed to, they don't want to, they're very afraid to look a certain way. Like, I don't want people to think I'm doing this for the wrong reasons and da 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 da. And I'm like, I always say, like, as long as you come from a place of inspiration, like there's no wrong way to donate money or donate your time, and people are always like, well, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm doing it for the right. I'm like, oh my God. Like
It's insane. You're right. People will do that about everything and you're just like, oh, well, I gave this much. Okay. If that's all you're going to give, I guess. It's like, wait, am I being judged because I'm trying to help? Like it's just, I can see that. Like, oh, they're the people thinking someone else is doing it for the wrong reason. And I think I saw an interview with you where you said that, like you said, that there is no wrong reason. You encourage everyone to, like, whatever you got, throw it in there. And it's, right. And at a certain point, it's like, whatever your reasoning is, it doesn't matter because we're using your resources and the things you borrowed us and lent us to help these other people. So our reasoning is still going to be positive. So you could come from a place of being shitty because you want to look good and whatever, and it doesn't matter. Go look good. We'll take the money and go help somebody, and that's what's important.
Exactly. I mean, even I could be an asshole sometimes. I'm just like, okay, so this big company, this company who has like millions of dollars is only going to donate X amount, whereas like this smaller company, has donated so much more and put in so many more resources. So even I'm an asshole.
Well, it's hard not to think. I mean, it's hard not to think that you see, like, oh, I've seen your books. You make billions. This is all you're giving? This guy barely getting by, and he's given twice that. Like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. That's really funny.
I've been very competitive too in the past. I mean, we've had our idea ripped off, and like I just like go full rage mode, and so.
What do you mean ripped off? What happened there?
I mean, people just they see a concept and they're like, oh, well, we could do that, and they completely rip off your copy and the model and all sorts of stuff. So it's I've come to learn it's a huge compliment.
That's, I mean. In a sense,
I'm like, ooh, wusa, namaste. It took me a long time to get there, but that's where I'm at now.
It is, it's I agree with you. Imitation is a form of flattery. It's they're only doing it because you've done it successfully,
right?
And it's worked and helped so many people.
Exactly.
At a certain point, it's like, okay, yes, here's what it is. You Grateful Deaded yourself. You created something that is bigger than you, which should be the goal of most of us, is to be involved in something that is bigger than us, so that when we're gone from these physical bodies, that thing continues to move forward. And absolutely, that's frustrating because you've created it and look what you've done. But at the same time, in 100 years,
we were inspired by Tom's. Like, everyone's just an inspiration of something else.
And in 100 years, no one's going to go, oh, well, Tom's did. It's going to be like, hey, we've got this model in place that we're doing. It's moved forward from that. You know what I mean? And
it just sucks when it's an asshole who's trying to rip you off.
Yep. Yes. Like, when it's someone you don't respect or you don't like. Yeah, of course. But you also have to know that they are doing that because they've seen what you do and you've done it successfully, which has got to feel good. To a certain point.
How this question started was, are there any dickheads? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the biggest dickhead here.
That's just, look, self-awareness. And when you say dickhead, I don't think being mad that someone's ripping you off is being a dickhead. I meant on the job, like when you're at these places, like anyone who's like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. And you're like, what? Like, just help.
No, but I do think, though, to, going back to our point, like, people will get better at giving. So like, even the first time that they, maybe, they could have donated more, maybe they could have worked a little harder, but then the second time they do it, or the next time they do it, they're going to come in and they're like, oh, okay. And that's why we encourage everyone, just dip your toe. A lot of people just don't know where to get started when it comes to giving, like to your point earlier. And so that's why we really just make it super easy for them to either donate, volunteer, both, all of the above, make it part of your business, include your clients in the whole process. We serve it up to them so easily, just to get them involved. And then once they get in and they start to, do it on a regular basis, they get better at it, just like anything.
And it is,
the more you practice, the better you're going to get.
Yeah. And taking that first step, because like you said, there are some people who just don't know where they can dive in, and it makes them uncomfortable to not know their place right away. So they back away and don't do anything. And that's
Exactly. A lot of people are weirdly intimidated by like giving or volunteering or donating or whatever, and that's why they're just like, I'm just gonna back away, or I'm just gonna, let them handle it for whatever reason. I think it may be because there's like a mentality like unless you're changing the world, then you're not making an
Yeah,
impact.
yeah.
And I completely disagree with that. I mean, I think we all make a positive impact when we step outside of our doors. If we pick up a piece of trash, or you know be nice, you say hello to someone that you didn't say hello to before, like those are all small ways that we're changing the world every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the small stuff. It's all about the little itty bitty, one step at a time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't get to Mars by just building a rocket that went to Mars all of a sudden. Do you know what I mean? There was like, we built this rocket that can go this far. Now we built another rocket to go. It's a process. We have to work in stages, kind of, not to be like all space shuttle-y.
The recent Mars rover landing?
Yeah, my name's up there. My name's on Mars twice now.
Wait, really?
You can go to NASA and you can fill out you get a little ticket and you put your name in there. It's free, and then your name gets put on a microchip with like a million other names, and they put it on the rover. It's on the rover somewhere, so it's up there. I had my name went up with the first rover they sent up. I can't remember the name, and then with Perseverance just now. So
wow,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I'm fascinated by that stuff.
I missed that announcement. Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
I think it's so rad.
Space is.
This rover was the first. This is the first one they have a microphone on it, so they can actually hear the sounds that are happening on Mars. Which is, I would be like glued to that thing.
I mean, I listened to it. And you're like, oh, but
I hear someone.
Dude. But why did they not program music on the rover? Why can he not crank Rush and we watch the Mars and listen to like 2112 or whatever? Like, it would be, they missed out by.
That would be an interesting playlist to have to put together for sure.
We got to play 10 songs on Mars. What are they going to be?
Oh, that's funny.
What were you like as a kid? Where kind of, I guess what I'm trying to get to is like, where did this?
I was an asshole.
So then where was the shift to like being a giving asshole? Where was that shift?
This is going the wrong way. This is going to be the headline for this podcast. This is going to be not what I was.
Give back homes? Question mark.
Biggest asshole in the industry, Caroline. What was I like as a kid? I mean, I was just I don't know. I was just a normal kid. I grew up in a really small town in the middle of the desert, California City.
Oh, wow.
Went to school, Long Beach State. I was always kind of, had a little side hustle. I never really thought about it as being entrepreneurial, but now when I look back on it, like I made like our senior videos, by myself. I just walked around with a camera and like, shot all of all the footage and edited it. And then I sold it at my graduation for like $10 a pop, like CD-ROMs.
Wow.
Like,
that is entrepreneurial.
Always kind of like had like a little hustle thing. But I also always wanted to like go, like I said, I had this like vision of like going to I happen to be Nicaraguan, so that's why Central America always has a special place in my heart. But I wanted to like do something there or go and visit and help, kids or orphanages or whatever it was. So
you'd been there before. You'd been to Nicaragua before any of the Tom stuff before.
No,
oh.
Tom's was the first time I went there, but that was just always something that I had wanted to do. Yeah. I don't know, just average kid.
Regular kid. I mean, you were a desert kid, so that's not too regular. You must have seen some weird shit out there.
Oh, there's so much weird stuff in the desert. We just always go driving around and, do bonfires and do all that sort of stuff. Just regular. I got busted for what year was I? Junior year, winter ball. I showed up like, drunk and like,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Just a regular kid.
Regular kid stuff.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older sister, yeah.
Older sister. And is she involved in anything like this?
She does PR for like female owned businesses. So she gives back, but in like a different, more female driven way, I guess. Or I just butchered that. I don't know.
No. I get what you're saying. Look, I mean, and again, there's no, I'm not trying to start a competition in anyone's head about like, if I don't give back as much as like, right. It's just about what you can do when you can do it, And
what gets you excited? What gets you really, happy? Like, what are you passionate about? Because that's what you're going to be, the most excited about. And when people can feel your like enthusiasm for something, that's what inspires them to either join you or be like, wow, I want to find that for myself,
That's it. Find what puts a smile on your face, and what, like, if you can have a shit-eating grin when you get out of bed every morning and you're excited to do this thing, it's not going to feel like work or a burden, or you're not even going to feel like I'm giving back. You're going to just be like in it. You'll be in the present moment of what you're doing, and it'll just be a nice flow.
To me, it's a flow. Like every day I like do what I need to do, and people are like, wow, you've dedicated your life to giving back. And I'm like, oh, to me, this is just normal. This feels, this is just what I do. This is just my work. And
you've dedicated your life to being alive.
yeah.
And with your life, you've chosen to do this.
Right. I love being able to like be the bridge between like these communities I use Central America. I mean, like I said, we do a lot of work in the US as well too. But when we first started, I loved the contrast of like being the person that connects, this little grandma's in Nicaragua to, the $1 million listing guys over here, and then like connecting them, and they would have never even thought of ever traveling to Nicaragua or whatever, what I mean?
They wouldn't have known.
Exactly. So I love playing in like that middle ground and just connecting those two worlds, I think is really cool. And like I was saying to you, I think maybe I said to you on the call previously, but I was just like, you don't have to be Mother Teresa to do something like this, like when people say things like that to me, I'm just like, I'm just living my regular day to day. So that's exactly.
You don't have to be, because like you said, you can still do all the things you do and then still find time to get mad at somebody or be a regular, you know what I mean? Or get pissed about a show you don't like being canceled. You still can find time for that stuff. It's not about like being a different person. It's just incorporating this into who you are.
Absolutely.
And when you start doing that, it becomes who you are. You just become
exactly
this person. I mean, when
8
we
years down the road, I'm like looking around, I'm like, wow, this is dope. Like what we started, 8 years ago. I mean,
8 years.
Never imagined that we would be doing what we're doing 8 years later.
I mean, just the idea to think about starting something and then even imagining it being around. I mean, we live in the age of the tiniest attention span. Like most people are distracted by, keys and bright lights, and they can't focus on anything for more than 3 seconds. So when you do something over the span, like I've been doing stand up for almost 21 years now. And it's like, boy, that's a long time, but it wouldn't, it's not the money that keeps me doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's the idea that whatever you started something,
you're bringing joy to people. I mean, that's how I feel. Like every single time we go and we do any sort of volunteer event, like delivering that little, thing of joy to both the people that we're helping and the people that are there volunteering and getting to experience that feeling for the first time. I'm there just like watching both and loving every single minute of it.
Yes. I had something I was going to say after you were saying. I lose my train of thought all the time. I'm
sorry. And
no.
I interrupt people all the time.
Please. I would rather that than the other, like you not talk at all and then me going, oh, this is weird.
First job.
What's that?
What was your very first job?
My very first job? I had to bag groceries at a place called Frank's Finer Foods in Warrenville, Illinois, because I sat on my friend Glenn's brand new Ibanez guitar and broke the headstock. And I was like 14, 15 years old. And I went to my mom. I go, oh, fuck, I sat on Glenn's guitar and broke it. And it's going to cost like $300. And she was like, she goes, oh, well, then you better get a job to pay for it. And I was like, what? No, can't you pay for it? She goes, I didn't sit on the fucking guitar. And I was like, okay, all right. So that was kind of my first job. I hated work. I hated work. I didn't have a job I liked until I was in college and I worked at a liquor store where I just sat there and got free booze. Like it was, well, yeah, that, and he gave me a discount. He knew I was giving away. He was like, I'm just happy the place is standing when I get back. I'm like, all right. But I mean, I hated all my jobs. I hated work. I was, like I said, I just wanted to have a good time. And when I wasn't doing what I thought was a good time, I was suffering. So I was angry a lot. But what you learn is you're only suffering because you're not being where you are. You're thinking about being somewhere else.
Right.
Instead of being in the moment and being present in what you're doing, which is enjoyable always, really. Like I found myself having fun waiting for a prescription at the farm. You know what I mean? There's no waiting. You're just in the moment, and this is a thing that's happening right now.
Right.
Yeah.
My first job was at a pizza factory. Have you heard of Pizza Factory?
I have, but they're not around anymore.
Oh yeah, they are.
Oh,
they are. Yeah, there's one in Lone Pine, Bishop. If you ever driven on the way.
Yes, I know these. I know because they're only in California.
Yes.
Yes.
I think they might have gone open maybe of one out. I found one in Idaho once, and I was just so happy.
Wow.
But I bleed Pizza Factory, so that was my first job. I was working at a pizza factory, tossing pizzas. And,
but isn't that where they give you the pizza and then you take it home?
No.
No? Oh, I thought that was the one where you cook it yourself.
We toss them. They're awesome. That's.
We toss them. They're awesome.
But,
wow.
That was my first job, and I loved it because what greater like joy than giving people pizza? Like it's
so. But did you really find that? Did you find that? Did you really like? Did you feel that? Were you like, I'm giving people pizza and everyone's happy with pizza, so I feel good because I'm doing this?
Absolutely. I loved every aspect. My dream, because I was only 14 or 15 when I first started working there, my dream was to be the delivery person. I wasn't old enough to be the delivery person, but I thought that was the coolest job in the world because how cool to be that guy who's like coming up to your door,
got your pizza.
You hear all the kids screaming, and then like you get to pull it out of the steaming, bag or the little warmer bag. Like I just would be, that moment was so cool to be like, here you go, just made your night. I'm the hero.
Yeah, we were a little bit different then at that age because I worked at a pizza place in college and I just wanted to be done all the time so that I could go get drunk. Like I was like, fuck this.
We did that too. We just brought pizzas with us.
But yeah, it just seemed like, it just seems like you were a happy person.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was always like the fun person. I always brought the fun, or I always brought the extra flair to whatever, the situation was. And probably that would be a lot of how people would describe me today, I think. I hope.
Did you feel that was a different attitude than your friends might have had at that same job or a similar job? Or were your friends kind of the same sort of positive, happy type?
I mean, as you're talking, I'll give you another example. My role in high school, I was the commissioner of spirit. That was my role in ASB, and I did all the pep rallies. I organized all the pep rallies.
We would not have been friends in high school.
No, I would have grabbed you by the shirt and I'd be like, listen, John,
have fun.
Have fun. Yeah. And you're going to get up and you're going to play this game in front of everyone.
So you ripped my Metallica shirt. You owe me money.
Exactly.
So from the work at the pizza place, what's the first, because I feel like you wouldn't have known that you were like this positivity might have been a different outlook than a lot of teenagers across the United States. But like, what was the first time you kind of took something on that was really volunteer or really kind of, I don't want to say like, I say this way, but you knew there was nothing in it for you. You weren't going to get a paycheck. You weren't going to get any accolades, but you could do this thing for somebody else. Is there any kind of, do you have a clicking moment, or is that just like something that seems to have progressed over the course of your life?
I think it progressed. I mean, even in junior high, like I was always advocating for like more different, variety of meals at lunch and stuff like that. Like I just always took on stuff just that
always involved.
Yeah. Like I always had something to, like, why aren't we doing this? And da, 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 da. And I don't know. I just always took on the weirdest things. But in terms of volunteering, there weren't a lot of volunteering official volunteering opportunities. And maybe that's why I just like picked up things that I thought needed to get done or whatever and took them on. I have no idea.
But what a Yeah, what a unique viewpoint for a kid, because I feel like most kids, most people, most human beings see something that they think is wrong or being done wrong or the system involving it is wrong, and they go, "Oh, that's fucking wrong," and that's it. And they walk away, and then they use that to complain at dinner parties, or they complain at, fucking smoking cigs with their friends or whatever it is.
Right.
But you were like, "Hey, we can fix this," and you like,
we need more pep rallies, and we need more speakers.
Guys, I noticed we're only having 7 pep rallies a week.
No, I have a letter. I have a letter that I wrote to the principal, and it said I had interviewed other schools and did data analysis of the more pep rallies we have, the higher our spirits, and the less fights we're gonna have at school. I mean, the letter sounds like it was written by Elf.
I was gonna say, like a wizard.
Yeah.
He's like, look, if we just take the amount of happiness and divide it by the amount of
that's made no sense. But it was very well organized, this letter, and it was just and that's why we need more pep rallies.
I mean, have you ever, do you feel like at a certain point, did they give you more pep rallies? Was it something that you just worked at until they were like, fine, Jesus Christ, here, 2 more a week. What do you want? And they just get out of the office. Were you always there? Come on, we can fix this.
I was always in the principal's office for one reason or another, for sure. But yeah, we ended up getting some more pep rallies. So I don't know why we're talking about.
No, but I think that's hilarious that you saw something as a kid where I say most people just complain, walk away, and bitch about it, and tried to fix things. Regardless of what those things were. Do I think your school needed more pep rallies? No, I don't. I'm guessing it needed less. But from your point of view, you saw an opening and a way to go about it, and you took that on, which is impressive and commendable, I think.
Thank you. And then I became the coach of a kickball league, an adult kickball league in college too. So that is why I mentioned that at the beginning.
I was going to say, that sounds like alcoholism getting the best of you there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I think we need a kickball league here.
Guys, if we started a kickball league, we could drink like this forever, every week together. Wouldn't it be great?
And that's what happened.
And that's exactly all those sports are just excuses to hang out. I mean, that's not we got to be good at kickball. This is going to affect our adult lives. You talked about Nicaragua. You do a lot there. Which is great. Are there places, besides Nicaragua, because that sounds like a lovely place, what's the nicest, most enjoyable in terms of scenery and a landscape and that you've gotten to go because of this?
Nicaragua is beautiful. I mean, when we first went there, we fell in love with everything. And that's why, like I said, we were so inspired to start Give Back Homes. We're more people should come visit here because of, what we experienced. And then, like I said, you could spend a week there and vacation afterwards. El Salvador is gorgeous as well, too. So, I mean, those 2 places I think are the most beautiful. But I was traveling all over the U.S. doing volunteer events. Obviously, this past year, not so much, which was challenging for me.
What did you have to do that via Zoom? How did you handle that?
We weren't able to have volunteer events. So I was usually traveling around to volunteer events, and then I would go to El Salvador, Nicaragua 2 or 3 times a year. And then I was traveling a lot for real estate conferences too. So going to a lot of conferences, schmoozing with.
I was going to say, and that was your marketing, kind of you go there and that was the business cards getting thrown about and
exactly. But so yeah, Central America is gorgeous.
Yeah. Have you fly down, obviously.
I rode my bike.
You can drive. You could drive all the way down. You know what I mean? That if it weren't for all the horror stories that I hear right now there's a stretch of Mexico that's probably not so safe for me to be driving through, but I do want to make that drive someday, just kind of straight out of LA all the way down. I think it would be fun.
Where?
I don't know. Just keep going. Central America. Take it as far as you can go. Yeah.
You should.
It'd be fun.
Don't be afraid.
Well, I won't be afraid.
Come with us on one of our build trips.
Honestly, that to me now at this stage of my life is a great way to get to somewhere like Argentina, El Salvador, somewhere that I would never be able to go on my own.
Right.
get there, because now I don't care about nice hotels and like getting hammered or drinking the biggest drink. Like, I want to go hiking. Like, when I go somewhere, I just want to go explore the area and see as much of it as I can and take it in. And when you get to do something like build a house, you're up early. You know what I mean? You're seeing the place that you're at more and in different ways than you would if you were just on a regular vacation.
Absolutely.
I am going to look into that, because I'm not really good at carpentry or building, but I'm big. I can carry stuff. I can use a hammer without killing somebody.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
It's a lot easier than you think. We're not out there doing anything like super I don't know, construction is super, like, where you would need a lot of experience in construction. Everyone comes and you learn it as you go. So
and that's not an issue. It's not a problem. You're not made to feel like, come on, man, you should have known how to do this before you got. Yeah.
No.
That's great. Because I think about the places you're talking about going, and a lot of them are impoverished. There's not wealth, whatever it is. But for the most part, when you see pictures of places like that, the people are smiling.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it seems to be like, and this, I look at like a movie like The Gods Must Be Crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No, I haven't.
Highly recommend it. But it's about a tribe in Africa who a pilot flying over drops a Coke bottle out of the plane. Mm-hmm. And this Coke bottle lands in the middle of this tribe who's never seen a Coke bottle before. And at first they're using it for a tool and it's super helpful. And then eventually it's causing problems and they're fighting over it. So one of the guys in the tribe's like, I'm taking this Coke bottle, I'm walking it to the end of the earth, and I'm flinging it into oblivion, because that's what the tribe knew, was this is how far the earth is and whatever. But everybody in that movie, they're all smiling, they're all happy, and they seemingly have nothing. Mm-hmm. Now you fucking put that next to a picture of 1990 Wall Street and people walking down Wall Street, and it's just a misery, just frowns, fucking pissed off, cocaine smiles. Like, it's just awful. It's awful. It's awful. It's just, this is a fine lesson of, like,
that's the biggest takeaway of all the people that, when I take groups of people down there to go work, they're like, holy shit, like, we came thinking we were, helping this family, and we've learned so much from these people. Like, they're so, like, they're, cooking them meals and bringing them, all these things and welcoming them into their homes. And, they're like, we've learned so much from them and have taken away so much more than what we thought we were originally coming here to help out and do,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really great. It's uplifting and inspiring. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
This is just one of those things for me. I saw in an interview you mentioned that we are past the days of the big check.
Wow, you really went deep into these.
I went deep. Well, our mutual friend Ira Stone is how I came upon you, and he sent me some clips. He was very helpful. But in that, and I that was the first time I was like, hey, she might not be right about everything, and maybe we could bring the big checks back. I mean, that's kind of an important. It's just a good look. I like the big check. So yeah, hold it, wave it around, pick it up. I've never signed one. I'd like to do that eventually. I just don't think I'm ready to give up big checks. That's all. I just want.
You haven't had a big check moment, and you want that moment before we're ready to move on.
Yes.
You're like, whoa. I haven't stood in a photo with a giant check. So let's wait until that happens.
It almost doesn't matter how much it's for. I get residual checks for literally 0.02 cents. So it could be that, and I could just hold it. It's just big checks are.
We could just Photoshop you holding a big check, donating to Give Back Homes for $1.
Ooh.
That check is physically big. That's all that
matters. Yeah.
That's your moment right there.
And that way you could put that up in the lobby of your offices, and people would see that and go, it doesn't matter how much I donate. Look at this idiot. And then they would at least feel good about whatever they did give.
It's true. That is true. I think the point I was trying to make is that, like, especially from a corporate standpoint, a lot of companies that we work with and talk to are like, well, we'll just write a big check, and then they pose with like the big cardboard checks or whatever at a charity event or whatever.
Yeah, we saved everybody.
Yeah. And my point was that, like, give people the experiences to get out there and volunteer and actually, use those donated dollars, which is very important. We need both to actually go and experience it and get involved with the causes. Yeah, we're open to, to big checks always.
No, good. And then one last thing, I just wanted to, I guess we've sort of talked about this. Like, you don't need a lot of money to be of service. You don't need, you don't necessarily need to be a skilled laborer. We could join your cause and help out in different ways. Are there certain fields of professions that you do need? Like, do you need medics? Do you need caterers? Is like when you're there, or is that something that's just you kind of take on a trip by trip basis and deal with it?
Yeah, we just kind of take it on a trip by trip basis. I mean, most of our community, most of our donors and most of our people who are part of Give Back Homes are all real estate agents, or work somewhere in the industry of real estate. But we pretty much, we work with other nonprofits that, like we were saying earlier, like Habitat for Humanity or Rebuilding Together, or all other ones in Central America, and they handle all of the construction and that sort of stuff, those logistics there on the ground. So yeah, we'll take anyone, but we're not in need of like any sort of particular trade. But
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has a role, right? Like, we would love to have comedians on our trips or whatever. Like, everyone has, like, they kind of fall into place on these group trips.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point I kind of want to make with this episode, is that there's nothing too small, or you just take that first step and get involved in any way you can. And again, if this company of Give Back Homes isn't someone's trip, that's okay. They don't have to. There's thousands of organizations and millions of ways you can give back. So it's not about like being at a certain social level or an economic level. It's just about wanting to help and doing what you can.
Yep, absolutely.
And from that, you'll feel good. It will feel good. It feels good to help other people. Like Scrooge, Jacob Marley, it's like, he's like, oh, you are really good at business. Mankind should have been my business. It's like, yeah, dude. Old rich people die and their last thought is, fuck, I've wasted my life.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing to show for it. Money, who gives a fuck about your money? Nobody.
Right. And a lot of people wait until they hit a certain, level of success before they start focusing on giving back and things like that. And then when they do, they wish they would have started a lot sooner. They're like, oh, I wish I would have done this a lot sooner. Cause I had nothing, and I started, I didn't wait until I had a certain level of success. And it's just about redefining or redefining what success means to you, or, what giving back, when do you want to give back and how? But I also think that, we always, like I said, we want to come from a place of inspiration of like, you don't have to necessarily start a nonprofit and like do all these things to like just dip your toe and just get started in one way, shape, or form. Just take some time, figure out what's important to you, what you love to do, and who you wish you had when you were younger, or what kind of opportunities you wish you had when you were younger. And if they don't exist, then create them.
I mean, that's great. It was very succinct. It sounds so simple, and it is. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a complicated thing. So that was awesome. Caroline, thank you so much. This was really, really a good talk. I had a good time. Is there anything else you want to plug or push out there? Or we'll include links to everything within the description, and where they can sign up and volunteer if they want, or donate, or whatever through Give Back Homes. But is there anything else you wanted to promote? Or
I have nothing to promote except for joy and kindness, and I hope that you'll come and join us on a build trip or a volunteer event soon. If anyone just wants to more help or advice in terms of getting started with an idea or something that they've been thinking about, they can reach out to me directly. I'm just Caroline@givebackhomes.com, or at Caro freaking line, or or at Give Back Homes. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put your email up there too, because again, that's helpful just to hear from someone who's taken those steps and done certain things that other people might be afraid or not understanding how to do. So
right.
This was great. Thank you so much, Caroline.
I feel so honored. I mean, you have so many cool people and in the entertainment industry and everything like that. And then I was like,
yeah, but that's if you look back, everybody I've had on so far has given back in some way. You know what I mean? Like, even like Garrett Morris, The guy made people laugh. He's still making people laugh. The guy's in his 70s. He's 80s. He's a fucking lunatic. You know what I mean? So like that's all I want to do is talk to people who that is kind of without even knowing it, without maybe knowing it, they're still giving back. You know?
We should hopefully we can have like a rap party or whatever. We could actually meet everyone who, because I was listening to your DD friend. I'm like, I need a friend like him.
Everybody needs an Eddie Pence. Everybody needs an Eddie Pence. Dude, a free Uber. It's great. It's great. And he gets entertainment out of it. So it's everybody wins. But yeah, no, that's a good idea. A rap party. That's a good idea. Like invite all the guests.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. After 52 episodes, I might do that.
I was in the commissioner's spirit for nothing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can lead the pep rally. It'll be great. Oh, Caroline, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
You too. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Oh man, what
a character!
Amazing human being. What'd you say?
What a character!
What'd you say? What a card!
Yeah.
What a cut up! No, she's great, and to me, that's like. It just shows you can be a regular fun person and still do it. You don't have to be stodgy, stuck up. It's not a competition. It's not anything you can do is helpful. Yeah. So guys, I hope that was at least a little bit inspirational. And then maybe you want to sign up, go help build a house in Nicaragua, because why not?
Yeah, givebackhomes.com, y'all.
We'll put up all the links. Thank you. We'll see you next time.